guys, it's Jamie, 1 Acre Alaska. This is my only rhubarb that I have on the farm. I'm actually going to be breaking it up into, I'm going to take 2 sections out of it, and I'm going to plant some, I think, over in front of a shed over here, and then the other one's over kind of near some of my apple trees. But today I'm going to show you how I harvest and how I process. Today we're going to make some rhubarb sauce. We use it for flavoring lemonade. We put it on top of cheesecakes. We put it on top of ice creams. We put it on pancakes. We put it in muffins. And it's just delicious. You can can it, you can freeze it, you can store it in the fridge. It lasts quite a long time. But for now, we start with about 8 cups of rhubarb. And I don't know if you've ever harvested rhubarb, but if you haven't, you never go in with a knife. You always just go in with your hands, and you split it open like this. You reach all the way to the bottom and you pull it out. So you have the root base right here. It tells the plant to grow more. So I start harvesting my rhubarb in May, and I will harvest until it starts freezing in late September, early October. And then I'm going to get about 7 large stalks. I'm at 3 right now. 4. The leaves are poisonous, so I don't feed them. They're poisonous to eat, might I say. I don't feed them to my animals, but I do use them as weed cover around plants because the leaves are nice and large, and you can drape them over your bed systems, and it keeps the weeds down. It's easy, it's organic, and I learned it from, I don't know who I learned it from, but it's pretty awesome. So I'm at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I'll take this one more. I usually will cut these off, but I didn't bring out a knife, so I'm just going to break these off, put them in a pile to use them later. And I will see you inside. Hi, welcome back. So I have cut the ends off, washed the rhubarb, and now we are going to get ready to cut it into like 1 inch chunks, kind of like you would cut a celery. So we are going to prepare 8 cups to start with, and then I'm trying not to say so much. I say it all the time. I have already prepared some jars to do the canning, sanitize them, sanitize the lids and the screw lids also. I have all my ingredients out. All this is a simple recipe. It's 4 ingredients. It's 8 cups of rhubarb. No, well, I do 8 cups, but it calls for 4. So I'm going to do 8 cups of rhubarb, 2 cups of sugar. I'm going to do 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, and how much water do I add? 2 cups of water. So 8 cups, 2 cups, 2 cups, half a cup. I'm going to restart this because that sucked. Okay. Well, it's okay. I'll just exit it out. So I also have on the stove the big gray pot right here is going to be used to render the the syrup down to when it's ready to be put in the jars. This pot is going to be for water bathing when we get to that point. So now what I'm going to do is dice these up, and I will show you them when they are ready to go. Okay, welcome back. I have gotten everything ready. I have 2 cups of sugar, 2 cups of water. It'll be 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, but that goes in at the very end. I'm almost done with the rhubarb. I have like 7.5 cups. I'm going to finish chopping this one stalk. Then we're going to add it all into the big cast iron pan, and we're going to bring it to a rolling boil. I will mash up the rhubarb as it starts to boil, and then I will, from that point, just kind of turn it down and stir it while I kind of smash it to get all these emulsified. Some people like to put it into a blender. We actually like ours a little chunky, more like a preserve. So we do not emulsify it. So here we go, 8 full cups. This is what it looks like. Nice, big, and pretty. It is going to go in this pan right here. The pan is heavy. All the way in, empty. And then on top of that, we are going to add 1 cup, 2 cups of sugar. And then on top of that, we are going to add 2 cups of water. I pre-measured everything out just so it was easier. From that point, we are going to take this pan, put it on the stove, turn it on high. Takes about, I don't know, 5 minutes to get to a rolling boil. When it gets to a rolling boil, I will show you what it looks like. I am then going to move all my jars and stuff over here so we can start prepping to put the hot rhubarb sauce into the jars. And then they are going to go in the big red pot back there to water bath them and put them in my pantry. So about 7 minutes has passed, I think 6 to 7, and it's just starting to bubble, as you can see. And we have to wait for it to get to a rolling boil, so I think we have at least another 5 minutes. So I'm saying 10 minutes to a rolling boil, and then from that point you turn your heat down and smash the fruit till the consistency you like. You can put it in your emulsifier or blender. We choose not to. So I will show you the next point in about 5 minutes. So I actually had to switch the burners because this is my higher powered burner and that's my lower one. And it was taking forever to get the roll boil that I wanted. So I switched the burners. I have the lids that go on the jars in there. That was already at a boiling point, so I scooted that over and left that on. But now we are to a rolling boil. I am going to stir that in and smash. You can already see that the rhubarb is starting to cook apart. I'm going to cook it on pretty high, not the roll, but pretty high for 5 minutes till I like the consistency. Then I'm going to shut it down. I'm going to add a tablespoon of butter and 2 tablespoons of lemon juice and stir it in really well. And then I will bring you back while I am putting it in the jars. Okay, I got it to where I want it to be. I am actually going to move my pot over closer to my jars and stuff. Let's see, put this out there. Super, super hot. It took a little longer than I thought, but I wanted to reduce it down to where it was actually like a sauce, not so much of a syrup. So my mom is making a cheesecake and I want to put it on the cheesecake this evening. So now we are going to, what I'm going to do, there is like a layer of foam. Here, let me show you what I'm talking about. So when you boil fruit of any kind, berries, do you see that white kind of frothy layer? You can stir it in if you want to. I always scrape mine off. I'm not a big fan of it. So that's what I'm gonna do now is I got this paper plate out and I'm just gonna pull just the white foamy stuff off. I feel it settles in my jars just a little bit better and it just kind of looks gross. It probably tastes good. I think I ate it as a child. My mom always put it in like a separate little bowl, whatever kind of jam she was making, and I totally ate it as a kid. So I have 1, 2, 3 pints. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 half pints. I don't know how much this is gonna put in. This is actually like half of what or less than half of what I normally do. But I thought it would be a good amount for a tutorial, and I use a funnel. Makes life a lot easier. The jars will get hot, so don't hold them in your hand. The consistency we have now is kind of a thicker sauce. Very, very, very hot. Scoot it a little bit closer, and let's see what we end up with. I like the pint jars believe they're pints. Yes, they're pints. Because it's enough for a family my size. I have a lot of children. Not very many people know that. Well, nobody on here anyway. I have 9 kids. I birthed 9 kids. I have 1 in heaven. I have 8 living. I have 2 grandchildren. I have 6 kids under my roof. Some of them are adult children. They're not here constantly. They kind of work away, but they always come back home to mom because we're good company. So I'm at 2 pints now. I'm gonna do some of the half pints. And I'm about halfway through, put that down. Halfway through what I have. I'm gonna finish jarring it up. And then, I forgot to add the lemon juice and butter. So I'm gonna put everything back in here, re-sanitize my jars, and start over. Shoot. Okay, I'm back. That was a ding dong move, but just goes to show we're all humans. And I probably shouldn't have been talking about kids in my life because I get distracted super easy. Okay, butter, lemon juice, stir well, and then after it's very stirred well, not everybody adds the butter. I've just always added a tablespoon of butter to my jams. I like it. I think it's delicious. We add the lemon juice to retain the color so it doesn't discolor while it's while it's sitting on the shelf. Whoops. Okay, all right, we're gonna try this again. Maybe tutorials aren't my strong suit, but that's okay. We're gonna do it. We got it going on. Do it again. Okay, I'm gonna start with the pints. Then I'll work to the half pints. You guys understand this, so I'm gonna pause and then come back to when I'm putting the lids on. All right, jars are filled. We ended up with 2 pints, 2 half pints. Take a clean cloth, get it damp. Take your jars, wipe the edges of your jars to get them nice and clean. Make sure you don't have any stuff on them. Always, before you use your jars, check for any imperfections on your edges. If you have imperfections, chips, nicks, I don't know what else could be put on the edges. Food, if you don't wipe them down and you have little particles of food from like your jams or your sauces or your vegetables that you're gonna can, you will not get a good seal. So you will have a bad batch or a bad jar of whatever you're making. I have my lids in here, magnetic little cleaner. Shake them off, set them on. I'm going to do that all the way across the board. At this time, I'm actually going to turn my heat up because we are going to add these jars into this stock pot and do a nice water bath. So these will be shelf stable and ready to go in my pantry. Rings, I don't over tighten them, just kind of medium tighten. I'm going to do all 4. And then from that point, you will take this is to lift cans and jars. Actually, it goes this way. These are the handles. You're going to take it. I'll show you how beautiful that is. And these are going to go in the water bath. You can set them all in there. Get them to a nice boil. I let them go for approximately 14 minutes, 12 to 14 minutes. So when my clock says, what, 1:38, I'm going to take them out. I'll show you when they are out and done. And that was my instructions on how to do rhubarb sauce. Rhubarb for us in Alaska is the first thing out of the ground, and it's the last thing we have before our freeze comes, besides kale. Kale stays late, but rhubarb is the sign that winter's over. So for Alaskans that like to garden and to can, Rhubarb is the sign that winter is done, and I love the rhubarb. Thank you for joining me. I will just do a couple still shots of what I have when we're done, and excuse my messiness. It was impromptu, and I'm glad you're here. Thank you. Thumbs up.